The massive Imperial scout ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. Its golden hull gleamed against the backdrop of distant stars as it began its standard survey of yet another primitive system marked for integration into the greater Galactic Empire. Captain Robert stood at Earth's United Defense Command Center, watching the alien vessels approach on the main screen. Unlike the panicked reactions in old science fiction movies, Earth had prepared for this moment for decades. The military leaders around him remained calm, following long-established first contact protocols. "They're bigger than we expected," Admiral Thompson remarked. Studying the sensor readings, the Imperial scout ship was roughly the size of a small mountain, dwarfing Earth's largest vessels. But size isn't everything. The first transmission from the Imperial ship came as expected. The universal translator worked perfectly, converting the alien language into clear English. "Primitive species of Sol 3, you are hereby notified of your integration into the greater Galactic Empire. Prepare for immediate surrender and cultural assessment." The Earth representatives had prepared their response carefully. "Welcome to Earth. We are open to peaceful dialogue and mutual cooperation. However, we must inform you that forced integration will be met with resistance." The Imperial response came quickly, filled with amusement and contempt. "Resistance. Your species has barely achieved basic spaceflight. Our scans show primitive nuclear technology and limited orbital capabilities. Submit, and you may serve as Grade C citizens within the Empire." In the command center, Robert exchanged glances with Thompson. The alien scans hadn't detected Earth's true military capabilities, hidden carefully beneath decades of technological camouflage. The underground bases, the advanced weapon systems, the fleet of stealth ships, all invisible to standard Imperial scanning technology. "We repeat our warning," Earth transmitted. "We seek peace, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. Please reconsider your approach." The Imperial ship's next message dripped with condescension. "Your species' arrogance is noted. The Empire has integrated 10,000 worlds. None have successfully resisted. You will submit or face extinction." Robert took a deep breath. "Send the final warning," he ordered. The message was simple. "We tried to be reasonable. We warned you to run. What happens next is your choice." The Imperial ship launched what they considered a standard show of force. A single missile aimed at an uninhabited area of the Sahara Desert. Their goal was to demonstrate their power and terrify the primitives into submission. It was the Empire's standard procedure, used successfully countless times before. The missile never reached Earth's atmosphere. In orbit, hidden defense satellites activated. A web of energy fields materialized, shredding the Imperial weapon into harmless particles. On Earth's dark side, massive hangar doors opened in the moon's surface, revealing rows of advanced warships that had been preparing for this moment for years. The Imperial captain's shock was evident in their next transmission. "Impossible. Our scans showed no such technology. You dared deceive the Empire." "No deception," Earth replied. "You simply didn't look hard enough. This is your final chance to retreat." The Imperial ship launched its full weapon array, expecting to easily overwhelm what they saw as primitive defenses. Instead, their weapons encountered a defense grid far beyond their expectations. Earth's counterattack was precisely calculated, disabled the Imperial ship's main weapons without destroying the vessel. "How?" the Imperial captain demanded. "You are primitives, barely space-capable." Admiral Thompson took over the communication. "Your Empire's greatest weakness is its arrogance. You see what you expect to see. A primitive world with primitive defenses. You never considered that we might be hiding our true capabilities, preparing for this very moment." The disabled Imperial ship hung in space, its golden hull now scared from Earth's defensive response. The command center received reports that more Imperial ships were emerging from hyperspace. The standard invasion fleet had arrived. Robert stood straighter, knowing that the real battle was about to begin. Earth's hidden forces were ready, its people united. The Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. "All units, battle stations," he commanded. "Let's show the Empire why they should have taken our warning seriously." As the Imperial fleet approached, Earth's true defenses emerged from their clever hiding places. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment, knowing that first contact might not be peaceful. They had hidden their advances, appearing primitive while developing technologies that could challenge even the mighty Empire. The Empire was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or technology. It was their ability to adapt, to prepare, and to fight against impossible odds. The war for Earth was about to begin, and humanity was ready. The Imperial fleet hung in space like a sea of golden stars, 1,000 ships strong. It was their standard pacification force, the same fleet size that had conquered countless worlds before. The Empire's commanders felt no concern. This was merely routine. Admiral Thompson watched from Earth's hidden command center deep within the lunar base as the enemy ships formed their traditional attack pattern. A smile crossed his face. They were so predictable. "Enemy fleet launching first wave," reported Lieutenant Mark from his monitoring station. "Standard Imperial formation, just as our intelligence predicted." The Imperial commander's voice boomed through the communication channels. "Primitive species, witness the might of the Empire. This fleet has conquered 1,000 worlds. You have one final chance to surrender." Thompson pressed a button, activating Earth's hidden defense grid. "Send response plan Alpha," he ordered. Across Earth's orbit, seemingly empty sectors of space came alive. Hundreds of satellites, invisible to Imperial scanners, powered up their electromagnetic pulse generators. The Empire had never encountered this type of warfare before. Their shields were designed to stop energy weapons and projectiles, not massive electromagnetic bursts. The first wave of Imperial ships suddenly lost power as the EMP waves washed over them. Their shields flickered and died. Their engines sputtered to a halt. The mighty warships became dead weight in space, drifting helplessly. "Impossible." The Imperial commander's voice cracked with disbelief. "Their technology is primitive. How are they bypassing our shields?" "Second wave incoming," Mark announced. "They're trying to adapt their shield frequencies." Thompson nodded. "Deploy the mirror drones." Thousands of small autonomous drones emerged from hidden lunar bases. Each one was barely larger than a basketball, but they carried Earth's latest weapon, reflective surfaces designed to redirect Imperial energy weapons back at their sources. The Imperial fleet's second wave opened fire, expecting to easily destroy these small targets. Instead, their energy beams bounced off the drone's surfaces, striking their own ships. Chaos erupted among the Imperial forces as their own weapons turned against them. "Enemy fleet attempting to regroup," Mark reported. "They're falling back to defensive positions." The Imperial commander's voice returned, less confident now. "What sorcery is this? You were supposed to be primitives." "We tried to warn you," Thompson replied calmly. "You chose not to listen." Earth's main fleet finally revealed itself, rising from hidden bases on the far side of the moon. The ships were smaller than their Imperial counterparts, but far more maneuverable. They had been designed specifically for this moment, built to exploit every weakness in Imperial technology that Earth's intelligence had discovered. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta," Thompson commanded. "Show them why humanity's greatest strength is our ability to adapt." The Earth fleet split into smaller groups, each targeting specific sections of the Imperial formation. Unlike the rigid, hierarchical structure of the Empire's forces, Earth's ships operated with tactical flexibility. Each commander had the authority to adapt their strategy based on the situation. Imperial ships began exploding as Earth's forces struck from multiple angles, using combinations of conventional weapons and electromagnetic warfare. The mighty Empire, which had never lost a fleet battle in its history, watched in horror as their ships were systematically disabled or destroyed. "This is impossible." The Imperial commander's voice shook with rage. You cannot defeat the Empire. We are supreme. You're learning an important lesson, Thompson responded. Never judge a species by their apparent level of technology. We knew you were coming. We prepared. We adapted. And now you're paying the price for your arrogance. The battle lasted less than 3 hours. When it ended, the mighty Imperial fleet was in ruins. Hundreds of their ships drifted powerless in space, while others had been destroyed by their own reflected weapon fire. The remaining vessels retreated in disarray, jumping to hyperspace in a desperate bid to escape. In the Lunar Command Center, Thompson watched the enemy fleet disappear. Send word to all Earth forces. Phase 1 complete. Prepare for their return. They'll be back with a larger fleet, but now they know we're not the easy target they expected. Mark looked up from his station. Sir, intercepted communications show the Imperial High Command is in chaos. They've never lost a fleet before. They don't know how to handle defeat. Thompson's expression remained serious. Then they're about to learn another lesson. Humanity doesn't just fight back. We win. Prepare all forces for Phase 2. The real war is just beginning. The stars seemed to shine brighter as Earth's fleet returned to their hidden bases, ready for the next battle. The Empire had learned its first lesson about humanity's capabilities, but many more lessons were yet to come. Commander James stalked through the bridge of his warship Thunder, watching his crew prepare for another unconventional assault. Unlike the rigid Imperial ships where officers sat motionless at their stations, his bridge buzzed with activity and constant movement. That was humanity's way. Always adapting, always changing. Imperial patrol detected, announced Officer Tom, his hands dancing across the holographic controls. 3 heavy cruisers, standard search pattern. They still haven't learned. James smiled. The Empire's military followed the same tactics they'd used for thousands of years. Why change what had always worked? But against humans, their predictability was becoming their greatest weakness. Show me, James ordered. The main screen lit up, displaying the massive Imperial ships moving in their perfect triangle formation. Same shield configuration as last time. Exactly the same, sir, Tom confirmed. They're creatures of habit. The Thunder was smaller than any of the Imperial cruisers, but size hadn't mattered much in this war so far. James opened a channel to his squadron. All ships, execute maneuver Wolfpack. His squadron of 5 ships had been hiding in an asteroid field, their advanced stealth systems making them invisible to Imperial scanners. Now they moved like hunters, spreading out to surround their prey. The Empire called this primitive pack hunting. James called it effective. Enemy ships still haven't detected us, reported Lieutenant Lisa from Tactical. Their arrogance is almost sad at this point. James watched as his ships moved into position. The Empire's technology was advanced, but they relied too heavily on their shields and automated systems. They never expected enemies to think outside their rigid battle protocols. Launch the decoys, James commanded. Small drones shot out from his ships, broadcasting false signals that mimicked the energy signatures of Earth's larger warships. The Imperial cruisers immediately turned to face this apparent threat. They're charging weapons, Tom announced, taking the bait perfectly. The Imperial ships fired their energy weapons at the decoys, exactly as planned. While their attention was focused forward, James's squadron struck from behind. The Thunder led the attack, firing precisely targeted electromagnetic pulses at the weak points in the Imperial shields. First cruiser shields are down, Lisa reported with satisfaction. Second and third are trying to rotate, but too slowly. James opened a channel to the Imperial ships. Attention Imperial vessels. Your shields are disabled. Your weapons are next. Surrender now. The Imperial commander's response was predictable. We do not surrender to primitives. The Empire never. Their weapons are powering up to maximum. Lisa interrupted. They're going to try a desperation attack. Execute Protocol Hammer, James ordered calmly. His squadron launched their newest weapons, simple kinetic projectiles, accelerated to incredible speeds. The Empire's sophisticated energy shields had never been designed to stop something so primitive as physical objects moving at relativistic speeds. The impacts were devastating. The Imperial ship's armor, designed to disperse energy weapons, crumpled under the kinetic strikes. Within moments, all three cruisers were drifting helplessly in space. Enemy ships disabled, Tom reported. No catastrophic damage. Crew compartments intact. James nodded with satisfaction. Begin rescue operations. I want prisoners for intelligence. As his crew worked to secure the Imperial ships, James reflected on how this war had unfolded. The Empire had expected to face primitive weapons, nuclear missiles, maybe some basic energy beams. Instead, they'd encountered a species that combined primitive warfare with advanced technology in ways they'd never imagined. "Sir," Lisa called out, "we're intercepting transmissions from the Imperial Command." "They're calling us barbarians." James laughed. "They still don't understand. We're not barbarians. We're just not bound by their rigid thinking. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to use everything at our disposal." The rescue operations proceeded smoothly. Imperial crew members were shocked to be treated with respect by these primitives. Many had expected to be executed, as that was Imperial protocol for defeated forces. Set course for base, James ordered once the prisoners were secure. "And prepare for debriefing. Every Imperial ship we capture teaches us more about their weaknesses." As the Thunder led its squadron home, James knew the Empire was learning painful lessons about humanity. They were learning that humans didn't fight according to proper protocols or accepted tactics. Humans used everything: cunning, deception, primitive weapons, advanced technology, and most importantly, the ability to think differently. The Empire had spent thousands of years perfecting their way of warfare. Humanity had spent thousands of years learning to adapt. In this war, adaptation was proving to be the superior strategy. The massive Imperial War Council chamber fell silent as the latest battle footage played on the holographic display. They watched in horror as Earth's combat AI systems coordinated attacks with inhuman precision, predicting and countering Imperial tactics before they even began. General Williams stood in Earth's Central Command, monitoring multiple battles simultaneously through neural interfaces. Around him, AI combat systems processed millions of calculations per second, adapting strategies faster than any organic mind could think. As Squadron Delta reports successful elimination of Imperial heavy carriers, reported the calm voice of Atlas, Earth's primary combat eye. Enemy forces continue to follow predicted patterns. The Empire had always feared artificial intelligence, considering it too dangerous to develop. Humans had embraced it, creating a partnership between human intuition and machine precision that was revolutionizing warfare. "Show me the Mars defense grid," William ordered. The display shifted, showing hundreds of automated defense platforms orbiting the red planet. Each platform contained both conventional weapons and AI systems that could operate independently if cut off from Central Command. "Imperial fleet approaching Mars," Atlas announced. 5,000 ships, their largest attack force yet. William smiled grimly. "They still think numbers are the answer." "Atlas, initiate defense pattern Omega." The Mars defense grid came alive. Instead of forming a static barrier like Imperial defenses would, the platforms began moving in complex, seemingly random patterns. Each movement was calculated by AI systems to create the most efficient defensive screen possible. "Enemy fleet launching first wave," Atlas reported. Standard Imperial attack formation. The Imperial ships moved with perfect precision, following battle plans that had worked for millennia. But they were fighting an enemy that could calculate and counter their every move in microseconds. "Execute counterattack," William commanded. Full AI coordination authorized. Earth's hidden fleet emerged from the Martian polar caps, where they had been concealed beneath the ice. The ships moved in patterns that would appear chaotic to organic observers, but were actually precisely calculated by the AI combat systems. Imperial commanders showing signs of confusion, Atlas noted. Their rigid command structure is failing to adapt to our fluid tactics. The battle unfolded like a complex dance. Imperial ships fired at positions where Earth vessels had been microseconds before, while AI-guided weapons found gaps in their formation that human eyes could never have spotted. "They're trying to jam our communications," reported Lieutenant David from his station. "They think we rely on central control like they do." William watched as Earth's ships seamlessly switched to autonomous operation, their onboard AI systems continuing the fight without missing a beat. The Empire couldn't understand that each Earth ship was capable of fighting independently, coordinating with its neighbors through quantum-encrypted channels that couldn't be jammed. "Imperial fleet attempting to regroup," Atlas announced. Probability of victory now calculated at 94.3%. The Empire's massive fleet began to break apart under the relentless assault. Their rigid formations, designed to concentrate firepower, became death traps as Earth's AI-guided weapons exploited every weakness. "Send the message," William ordered. The transmission went out to all Imperial ships. "Your tactics were perfected against organic opponents. You're not fighting against human limitations anymore. You're fighting against humanity and AI working as one. Retreat now, or be destroyed." The Imperial response came quickly. "Abominations! You dare to use thinking machines in warfare. This is against all civilized protocols." "At last," William said calmly, "show them why we don't care about their protocols." The AI systems launched their masterstroke, a coordinated attack that had been calculated to exploit every weakness in Imperial tactics. Ships that had fought for the Empire for centuries were disabled or destroyed in minutes. "Enemy fleet retreating," Atlas reported. "Battle of Mars is concluded. Total time, 17 minutes, 23 seconds. William watched the Imperial ships flee. They'll be back. But now, they know they're not just fighting humans. They're fighting something they've never encountered before. The AI's response was characteristically precise. They feared artificial intelligence. "We made it our strength. This is why humans will win this war, General. You embrace what others fear." As the defense platforms resumed their patrol patterns and the Earth fleet returned to hiding, William knew the Empire had just learned their hardest lesson yet. They weren't just fighting against primitive humans anymore. They were fighting against the perfect combination of human innovation and machine precision. And they had no idea how to handle that. The Imperial Grand Admiral stood before his planet killer fleet. 50 massive ships, each capable of destroying a world. This was the Empire's ultimate weapon, never before used in its full strength. Surely these primitive humans would surrender when faced with such power. "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected," reported the defense officer at Earth's Titan base, hidden deep within Saturn's largest moon. They'd brought their planet killers. Admiral Thompson studied the tactical display with practiced calm. "Right on schedule. All units, initiate Operation Scorched Earth." The planet killer fleet emerged from hyperspace in a perfect formation, their massive ships gleaming with deadly purpose. Each vessel was 20 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that could crack a planet's crust. "Send the standard surrender demand," the Grand Admiral commanded, his voice filled with absolute certainty. No species had ever refused to surrender when faced with the planet killer fleet. The response from Earth was not what he expected. The humans sent only a short video clip, showing dozens of underground bases and bunkers spread throughout their solar system. Humanity had long ago moved most of its civilization below ground, preparing for this very moment. "What trickery is this?" the Grand Admiral demanded. Thompson's voice came through clear and calm. "You can't threaten a species with extinction when they've spent decades preparing for exactly that threat. But please, waste your weapons on our empty surface. We'll wait." The Grand Admiral's rage was visible even through the transmission. "Then we will destroy your entire solar system, every planet, every moon." "We assumed you'd try that," Thompson replied. As he spoke, hundreds of small ships emerged from hidden bases across the solar system. Not warships, evacuation ships, already loaded with civilians and supplies. Humanity isn't bound to one world or one system. We can always rebuild elsewhere. The Planet Killer fleet opened fire on Earth, their massive weapons burning through the atmosphere. But as their sensors penetrated the surface, they found most cities were empty shells. The real civilization lay protected in deep bunkers, or had already evacuated. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Mark, "all civilian ships have cleared the system. Operation Scorched Earth is entering Phase 2. Thompson nodded. "Launch the Nova bombs." Across the solar system, specially designed weapons activated. Not aimed at the Imperial ships, but at carefully selected points in space. The weapons detonated, creating artificial solar flares that swept through the system. The Imperial shift shields, designed to project overwhelming force outward, proved less effective against the massive waves of solar radiation. Systems began failing across their fleet. "Impossible," the Grand Admiral shouted. "Our shields are perfect. Nothing can penetrate them." "Your shields were designed to stop attacks from the outside," Thompson explained. "We're not attacking your ships. We're changing the very space around them." The artificial solar flares continued, bathing the Imperial fleet in deadly radiation. Their mighty shields, which could stop planet-destroying weapons, couldn't fully protect against this fundamental change to space itself. "All units, begin attack pattern Sierra," Thompson commanded. Earth's real war fleet emerged from its hiding places in the outer system, striking at the weakened Imperial ships with precise, coordinated attacks. The Planet Killer fleet tried to fight back, but their massive weapons were designed to destroy worlds, not engage in ship-to-ship combat. The more agile Earth vessels slipped through their defenses, targeting critical systems with surgical precision. "Enemy fleet losing power," Mark reported. "Their radiation shielding is failing." The Grand Admiral's voice had lost its confidence. "This is not warfare. This is not how battles should be fought." "You brought planet killers to fight humans," Thompson replied. "We responded by turning our entire solar system into a weapon. Did you really think we would fight according to your rules?" One by one, the mighty planet killer ships began to fall silent, their crews evacuating as radiation levels became lethal. The Empire's ultimate weapon had been defeated not by superior firepower, but by humanity's willingness to think beyond conventional warfare. "Send word to Imperial High Command," Thompson ordered. "Tell them their planet killer fleet has failed. And remind them, this was just one star system. Humanity has already spread to many others." The Empire had intended to break humanity's pride. Instead, they had lost their own. The species they had dismissed as primitives had just defeated their most powerful weapons through innovation and unconventional thinking. And the war was far from over. The Imperial High Council chamber erupted in chaos as reports from the front lines continued to arrive. News of defeat after defeat shattered their 10,000-year confidence. For the first time in Imperial history, counselors openly questioned their military leadership. "The humans have taken another supply fleet," announced one counselor, his voice trembling. "They're not just defeating us. They're studying our technology, improving it, and using it against us." In Earth's Deep Space Command Center, Commander James reviewed the latest battle data. His tactical screen showed Imperial forces retreating across multiple sectors, their once perfect formations now broken and scattered. "Status report on Project Phoenix," James ordered, watching as his officers compiled the data. "Sir, reverse engineering of Imperial tech is proceeding faster than expected," reported Officer Tom. "Their technology is advanced, but surprisingly unimaginative. They haven't improved their basic designs in centuries." The main screen displayed their latest achievement, Earth ships now equipped with modified Imperial drive systems. But unlike the Empire's ships, these vessels had been enhanced with human innovations, making them faster and more maneuverable than the originals. Imperial Battle Group detected approaching Alpha Centauri colony, announced Lieutenant Lisa. 10,000 ships. They're throwing everything they have at our first extrasolar settlement. James smiled grimly. They still think they can contain us to one star system. Launch Operation Hydra. Across human-controlled space, hidden shipyards activated. The Empire had expected to face a single system's military forces. Instead, they were fighting an enemy that had secretly established bases and production facilities throughout nearby star systems. All ships, execute Battle Plan Delta, James commanded. Show them what happens when you corner a human. Earth's forces struck from multiple directions simultaneously. Unlike the Empire's massive fleet formations, human ships attacked in small, aggressive groups, each operating independently but coordinating through quantum communications. Enemy fleet attempting to establish defensive formation, Lisa reported. They're falling back to their standard protocols. Deploy the new hybrid weapons, James ordered. The latest human innovation combined Imperial energy weapons with Earth's primitive nuclear technology. The resulting weapons bypassed Imperial shields, which had never been designed to stop such a combination. Their ships are taking heavy damage, Tom reported. They're starting to panic, sir. Imperial commanders are breaking formation, trying to retreat individually. The Imperial High Council watched in horror as their mighty fleet dissolved into chaos. Their commanders, trained to follow strict battle protocols, had no guidance for this situation. Nothing in their 10,000 years of military doctrine had prepared them for an enemy that fought like this. How are they doing this? Demanded the Imperial High Commander. They were primitives. They barely had spaceflight when we found them. The answer came in the form of a transmission from James. You thought we were primitive because we didn't match your definition of advancement. You never considered that we might have chosen a different path. The battle continued as Earth forces systematically dismantled the Imperial fleet. Ships that surrendered were spared. Humanity had learned that captured Imperial officers often became valuable allies, their eyes open to new possibilities. Sir, Lisa called out, we're detecting massive energy signatures from Imperial space. They're destroying their own shipyards. James watched the tactical display with understanding. The Empire was burning its own infrastructure, trying to prevent more of their technology from falling into human hands. They didn't realize it was already too late. Send message to all human forces, James commanded. Phase 6 is complete. The Empire is no longer fighting to conquer Earth. They're fighting for their own survival. The Imperial High Council's final transmission of the day revealed their complete psychological collapse. What manner of species are you? What kind of civilization advances by breaking every rule of warfare? We're human, James replied simply. We don't follow rules. We adapt. We learn. We grow stronger from every challenge. You could have been our allies, but you chose to be our enemies. As the battle ended, James looked at the casualty reports with a heavy heart. Victory came at a cost, but humanity's losses were far fewer than the Empire's. They had learned to fight smarter, not just harder. The Empire had started this war expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened a species that turned every defeat into a lesson, every setback into an opportunity to innovate. Their greatest mistake wasn't attacking Earth. It was giving humanity a reason to show its true potential. The final battle for Earth's solar system began not with a bang, but with an unexpected message from the Imperial High Command. We request negotiations. Admiral Thompson sat in Earth's primary command center, surrounded by his senior staff. The message had arrived just as their sensors detected the largest Imperial fleet ever assembled. 100,000 ships approaching Earth. They want to talk while positioning their fleet for a final attack. Lieutenant Mark observed. Classic Imperial deception tactics. Thompson nodded. Of course they do. Initiate Operation Last Light. Across the solar system, humanity's full military might finally reveal itself. Hidden bases on every planet and moon activated. Asteroid bases uncloaked. Massive shipyards in dimensional pocket space became visible. The Empire's sensors suddenly detected not just thousands, but hundreds of thousands of human vessels. "Send our response," Thompson ordered. "Show them everything." The Imperial Supreme Commander watched in growing horror as his tactical displays updated. Humanity hadn't just matched the Empire's numbers. They had exceeded them. Every human ship incorporated both Imperial and Earth technology, improved and modified in ways their engineers had never imagined. "This is impossible," the Supreme Commander whispered. "Where did they hide all this?" Thompson's response was broadcasted across all frequencies. "We didn't just prepare for war. We prepared to win it. One last chance. Unconditional surrender or face complete defeat." The Imperial fleet launched their attack, desperation dragging them forward. They expected humans to match their rigid battle formations. Instead, Earth's forces executed what appeared to be complete chaos. "All units, execute final protocol," Thompson commanded. "Show them everything we can do." Human ships phased through Imperial formations using modified dimensional drive technology. AI-guided weapons found weaknesses that Imperial shields had possessed for centuries. Hybrid nuclear energy weapons bypassed their defenses entirely. "Enemy fleet breaking apart," Mark reported. "Their command structure is collapsing." The Supreme Commander watched helplessly as his perfect formation dissolved into panic. Ships began surrendering by the hundreds, then thousands. The mighty Imperial war machine, undefeated for 10 millennia, was coming apart. "How?" he demanded. "How did primitives defeat us?" Thompson's response was calm but firm. "Because you never understood what humanity really is. We're not just warriors or scientists or engineers. We're innovators, adapters, survivors. Every species you conquered fought you the same way, following the same rules. We chose to be different." The battle lasted less than an hour. When it ended, the greatest fleet in Imperial history had been reduced to floating debris and surrendered vessels. The Empire's 10,000 years of absolute rule had been broken by a species they had dismissed as primitive. "Incoming transmission from Imperial Capital," Mark announced. They're requesting terms of surrender." Thompson straightened in his chair. This was the moment humanity had fought for, but he felt no joy. Only the heavy weight of responsibility for what would come next. "Open channel," he ordered. "Let's make history." The terms were fair but firm. The Empire would survive, but it would change. No more conquests. No more forcing their way of life on others. And most importantly, they would learn to innovate again, to grow beyond their rigid traditions. "The war is over," Thompson announced to all Earth forces, "but our real work is just beginning." In the months that followed, humanity helped rebuild what had been destroyed. Imperial worlds learned new ways of thinking, of advancing through innovation rather than conquest. Many were surprised to find humans were willing to share their technology, their ideas, their ways of thinking. They expected us to treat them as they treated others, Thompson explained to the Earth Council. "Instead, we'll show them a better way, not through force, but through example." The Empire had started the war believing they were superior. They ended it learning that true advancement came not from controlling others, but from being willing to change and grow. In the Imperial capital, a new monument was erected. It didn't celebrate victory or mourn defeat. Instead, it bore a simple message that would guide future generations. Never judge a species by their appearance of advancement. True civilization is measured not by its age, but by its willingness to learn and grow. Remember Earth and remember change. The stars shone brighter that day, witnessing the birth of a new era, one where innovation and adaptation would guide the galaxy's future, not tradition and force. The Empire had wanted to teach humanity its place. Instead, humanity had taught the galaxy a new way forward.